Hey y'all, it's Chris with Shell Fitness. I'm here with one of the main guys over at Crunch. This is Jared Gaines, and we're going to talk about how you can get hired at Crunch. There's a lot of different gyms on the West Coast. I would say the two main gyms are going to be Crunch and Equinox. And so I've done an interview before with a manager at Equinox. Now we're going to talk about the life of Crunch. So Jared, how long have you been at Crunch for? How long were you there for?
I was there for about 4 years. So I've been at Crunch about 4 years. Came on as a manager, managed about 3 different gyms. Also managed, I had about a 5 club, a nice little district that I ran for about 6 to 8 months as well. So
Correct me if I'm wrong, you started out in back Midwest?
Yes.
And then San Francisco, you went up there, killed it. They stole him, brought him down here to Sunset, and that's one of their bigger gyms. It's like, how many check-ins would you guys have a day?
We had about 1,600, 1,800 check-ins a day.
A lot of people coming through there. In a month, how many interviews would you do?
I was doing about 15 to 20 interviews a month.
So individual or like group?
Individual, and we did some group, but it wasn't all that. We didn't set all groups all the time.
So there's a lot of people coming through. People want to become a trainer, but as you know in our talks, there's a lot of ambiguity and a lot of misdirection. So we're going to help clarify that right now. We're going to talk about how you can potentially get hired at Crunch. So first off, do you get contacted by HR? If I wanted to get trained there, what's going to happen?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we would have you do is go apply online, and then once you applied online, either my recruiter or myself would reach out to you and set up an interview and have you come in. Once you come in, then it's kind of a 2 to 3 step process.
Okay. So let's talk about resumes first. Don't give a cover letter unless they ask for a cover letter. Make it 1 page. Even if you have no history with exercise or training, don't put a bunch of things that you want to do. I want to be CSCS. I want to be, nope, just 1 page. Use your work experience. Have someone proofread it. Bring it in on nice paper. I'm sure you had some horror stories with terrible resumes.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because resumes are people do so many different things for the resume. I mean, they'll have headshots on it. They'll have, especially out here in LA, that they'll put headshots on it. They'll put like every little detail, or they won't put hardly anything on it. So, I think a nice solid resume, 1 page, like you were saying, with enough information to kind of get to know you, is always very solid.
So pretend you worked at Starbucks for the last 2 years. You decided to get certified. Use Starbucks as a way to show that you're diverse in life. So I've cross-sailed. I've worked with management. I'm multi-purposeful. I can do a lot of things at one time. Use that experience and put it on your resume and relate it to what you're going to do in the personal training industry. I like the objective. My purpose is to obtain a position in the personal training industry where I can help people of all ages. Don't say you want to work with athletes and kids. We get that a lot, and we don't want to hear about it. Sorry, but you're not going to train athletes and kids at a Crunch or an Equinox. So just be quick to the point. Have someone proofread it. It annoys the hell out of me and us when you get headshots. I love those. I actually will take them and I'll show other people as like a joke. Like, oh, look at this guy or this girl. Headshots. No, we're not in modeling. So 1 page, get you in the door. When I show up, how should I dress?
Business, I always look at the way you dress as like the way you're going to take the job. So I usually say, nice pants, button-up shirt. If you want to add a tie to it, that's always a plus as well. But at least, a button-up shirt, nice pants, like dress pants, something like that. Biggest thing for me is the reason I say that is because for me, this has been a career for me. So I want to look at somebody that's going to make this a career, and whenever I feel like they come in an interview and they're dressed nice and everything, that they're serious about what they want to do.
We live in LA, it's hot, so you don't have to wear a jacket, but suit up. Nice shirt, red, blue tie, whatever. Don't wear Lulu. This wouldn't be acceptable. You'd be surprised. Would you get a lot of people to just show up like this?
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of people show up in like literally just workout clothes. Now, look, there are times my recruiter would say that you might do a practical right after, and if that's the case, I'm usually warned about that, so then that's fine. But it's like, if you didn't get told you're going to do a practical right away, or you might have that chance, then I want you in business casual.
If your appointment is at 2 o'clock, what time should they get there?
I like at least 15, 20 minutes early, just because, LA traffic's crazy. But a lot of times, that was one of my biggest pet peeves that we were going to talk about is like people always not really planning for that and kind of showing up late. Like they didn't be like 5, 10, 15 minutes late. for somebody in a management position, most of the time we have so much stuff going on, so it's like it kind of throws our schedule off a little bit.
Big time. I tell people get there an hour early. We're on Sunset right now. Come here an hour, go to a Starbucks, drink some coffee, read a book, get to the outside of Crunch 20, 30 minutes early, but be to the location an hour early. I hate excuses, and if you're going to tell me that traffic, no shit, it's in LA. You're going to have traffic. That's not a good excuse. So be there on time, have a couple of resumes, be present, smell good, look good, and when you go in, do your research. So learn about Crunch, new gyms that they're opening, who they were owned before, maybe future gyms that they want to open. How can you become manager? What about compensation? You can find all that stuff. Don't ask it during the interview, which I'm sure a lot of people do. So let's pretend like it's a one-on-one. I'm there early, give you my resume, we start talking. What are some common questions you like to ask?
Why Crunch? Why do you want to be a part of Crunch? What is the biggest reason that brought you in today, and or what is the biggest reason that made you let's see, what am I looking? Apply for Crunch? Because at the end of the day, I want to see what do you know about Crunch, but also what brought you in? Why would you want to work at Crunch? And is this something that you're very serious about?
You told me a common occurrence you would get when people want to do it part-time. Don't tell managers or anyone in the fitness industry you want to work part-time. It's like, we already know that. You don't need to tell us. So you're dedicated to the position. And what are some other things that maybe annoyed you with the interview process, with questions, tone of voice, going off on tangents?
Yeah, you got to be personable in the interview. I think the biggest thing is if I'm having to pull answers out of you, then this is going to be a tough job for you, because you're one-on-one with somebody for an hour, and then if you're busy, if you get busy to a point where you're literally going to be one-on-one, 5-6 hours a day, 7 hours a day, which if you've been in this industry, can be exhausting. But at the same time, you have to make sure that you're very personal and you're on cue every time.
What are some other questions you like to ask? You do the strengths, the weaknesses, future, where you want to be?
I like to. My biggest thing is I ask them why Crunch, and then I talk to them about kind of like why they want to be a personal trainer, what makes them want to be. Because the biggest thing is I find that out of the 11, 12 years I've been doing this, a lot of people don't know what the personal trainer position holds, what it really. It's not, and this is one thing that is my pet peeve, is for somebody to come in, well, I like to work out. Well, that's not necessarily what we're doing. It's a part of it, but the biggest thing is we're trying to help people in ways that they've never been able to get or progress to. So the knowledge of it, which is exciting, the push, but also really, it takes a lot more than people think. It's not going to be, I'd spend an hour with somebody, work them out, and then I get to go do what I want for a while. I mean, it doesn't work like that. So,
could you imagine an eye surgeon going through an interview, why you want to be an eye surgeon, and the person in front of him says, yeah, I like to look at stuff. It's not a really good it's not the best example, but it's you're going to work with people's eyes. You're not necessarily using your eyes. I guess it kind of makes sense. Maybe it doesn't, but... So as a trainer, you're going to have a lot of days where you're working 8 to 10 hours and you may not even work out. So the passion in helping other people, that's what we like to hear. You're going to stick around for a while. What are some common, so then you get hired, they have a certification. Do you have a preference of what cert you like?
No, anything nationally accredited is what I look for. Obviously there are better, the most common ones for a corporate gym is the Nasm, Nsca, ACE, some accept ISSA, some don't. It just depends on if ISSA is nationally accredited or not at the time, because they kind of they bounce back and forth. And then just really but the biggest thing for me is I look for you being personable, if you can fit in on my team, and how hard I think you're going to be able to work. Because people don't realize that this is a grind, and it's one of them. You got to work around everybody else's schedule, not your own. You don't really get to make your own until your business is built and everything, and then it's just really kind of like one of those things where you have to be there quite a bit and just really make sure that you're present and working hard and really just trying to meet as many people as you can.
So I didn't prep Jared for this question, but hypothetically, do you get checked from upper management on looking at the certs? Do you have to report stuff? Do you have to send it in, or what exactly?
Yeah, so what we do is we take your certs, we do a background check, we do application and everything, and we take that, we have it all filled out, and then we send it all in together. And then HR takes a look at it and then approves everything after the background check's approved.
So hypothetically, what if I were to come in, personality, look the part, talk the part, I'm very confident, I'm not cocky, I tell you I can get anyone to sign up. After the interview, I go out there and I prove to you, I get a couple people on the floor, get them to come in for an assessment, I show you that I'm legit, and I keep on telling you that I have my cert, but I don't give it to you. Would you still keep me on? I mean, this is hypothetical.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's funny because it happens. So I have to have a cert. If you don't have a cert, we can give you up to 30 days to get a cert.
So can those be broken at all, those 30 days? What if I was the best you've ever seen?
It's, you know what,
I get $4,000 in the first 2 weeks.
At the end of the day, that's amazing, and we obviously like that number and like everything like that, but it's like HR is the one that makes that decision, not myself, so it has to really go through HR, and it really, they're pretty strict about their rules because of the fact that it's not fair to everyone.
What if I had a college degree? Would you take that? No cert?
It depends on what the college degree is, but yes.
Kinesiology?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So there's different gyms. I always ask that question because like at Equinox, I've had students that have graduated that didn't get their cert and they trained there for 6+ months. I hear stories like Jerry's telling you, they're going to be a lot more stringent with their certification. It's me challenging the whole industry. Nsca, the National Certifying Agency, whatever it stands for, they're the governing body that says you're a cert, you're not a cert. And so they're going to send them reports saying this is our updated list, this is who we're going to accept for insurance reasons, whatever. The take home is you need that piece of paper to get in there. Now, if you want to be an independent contractor, you do not need that piece of paper. You just need the insurance. So we go through the interview, you get hired, and then take me through a day in a trainer is crunch. Like maybe starting out pay, like if I were to sign someone up, hours rate is like $80-$90 an hour is
sessions? Well, it depends. So I mean, it depends on, because we do have different levels of trainers. So it depends on what level you come in as. Normally you're starting anywhere from about 110 to about 160, or 100 to about 160, unless we do like a new member package, which is usually from point of sale, which is from our membership team, and it's a little bit less on that, just depending on what they're running.
So if I sell $100, how much of that do I get with one cert?
With one cert, you're going to get 25.
It's horse shit, right? They're taking all my money, I got the client, poor me, I'm the victim. Can't take that mindset. You would have never have got that client without that brand on your chest. And you also need to remember, who are you? That person signed up because of the gym, not because of you. You're getting insurance, you're getting an opportunity to train people. Minimum wage is like $12-14 right now.
I mean, it's 12, yeah.
So you're getting twice minimum wage by doing a weekend course. You got to change that mindset if you want to be successful. If you go in and you have this victim mentality that the gyms are screwing you over and it's not fair, I'm doing all the work, you are not going to succeed. You have to have a mindset that this is an opportunity to get some reps for 2-3 years and learn how to train. Most importantly, learn life skills, such as planning. Most trainers suck at planning. Yeah. They take a 5 a.m., an 8 a.m., a 1 p.m., a 3 p.m., a 7 p.m., a 9 p.m., they never work out, they stop their continuing education, and they get burnt out. How common would you say it is for trainers, once they get hired, to burn out within the first 6 months?
I mean, it's very common. The biggest thing is your schedule's kind of all over the place unless you can kind of guide it like he's talking about with the planning aspect of it. But it's all over the place, and it's, sometimes it can be very, very busy, or sometimes it starts a little slow and it takes off, after that 6-month period. It just depends on. And that really depends on, what I always say is how much you're putting into this. You're always going to get out of it what you put into it. If you put into a lot, you're going to get a lot out of it. But if you don't, and you just kind of sit back and just kind of, oh, well, they're not helping me out. Look, never, ever wait for somebody in the fitness industry to write your paycheck. Because once you do that, you're going to fail. And that's unfortunate, but it's just the truth.
I like that. So now, you can tell me if this is a big no-no, or I talk about this in class all the time, but think bigger. If you're a new trainer and you go into a gym, if I were to go to Jerry and say, who's your top trainer, the girl and guy, you're gonna tell me who it is.
Right.
Without him knowing, I'm gonna go up to the top girl and guy and say, I would like you to take me through a workout. Here's $100 cash. I know you're probably getting $60, $70 per session. I'm not gonna tell anyone. I want you to train me because you are the best. Probably not accepted. You probably won't.
Yeah, they might not appreciate it. I mean, look, I don't, something like that is corporate rules for me. I look at it as that's a staff member and staff member. I don't know what they're paying $100 for.
So again, this is not suggested, wink, wink, but imagine the respect you would get from those two top trainers.
Right, absolutely.
And if that's going to be your community, you're going in as the young dog, and you think your shit doesn't stink. I know these new trainers come in and think they know everything. Oh, this is my new cert. I'm doing animal flow, whatever the new cert is. And you start showing off, and the other trainers are like, oh, there's another person that's going to fail. So when you put that ego aside and you go up to the top trainers, you say, hey man, I'm really excited to make this a career. I want to learn from the best, and Jared told me you're the best. So here's $100, let's keep this under the table. More than likely, my guess is that person's going to say no. They're not going to want your money, but they'll still help you. And then what you need to do is go buy them something. Go get them a Lululemon gift card, take them out to lunch, dinner, whatever. Build bonds with the people around you. Now, what are some keys to be successful for getting assessments and prospecting and building your book of business?
Being there, FaceTime. The biggest thing I can tell you to be successful when you first come in the industry, especially at a gym, is the more time you're there, the more people see you there, the more people you can talk to, the more comfortable they get. And look, just even walk around a floor, you don't have to necessarily automatically ask for an assessment. Just introduce yourself. Talk to them about what they're working out. Talk to them about their goals. What can hey, let me see if I can teach you something new. I mean, everybody wants to be taught something new in the fitness industry because nobody knows everything, which is the best part about it. But we can learn every day, and a new exercise to them might be something that they've never done, and they activate muscle groups that they've never activated, and that might end up leading you to an assessment. Or best case scenario is they may not do it that day, but if they have a question, they'll come back to you, and then you'll be like, hey, let me just spend an hour with you and see what I can teach you. And that's just something I've always said. Like, it doesn't have to be an aggressive sale like people think it is. It's more, and some people can do it like that, but it's not my style. I've seen a lot of trainers that can't do it. But if I can, kind of get to know them over time, eventually they usually come to me and say, hey, you know what, I'm thinking about doing some training with you. What do I need to do? And then I'll let's go through an assessment, let's sit down, let's talk, and then we'll figure out what's going to work best for you.
The simple things are going to keep you around, smiling all the time. I go to Equinoxes and Crunches consistently, and I'm surprised at the trainers that walk by and mean mug me. I could be a billionaire, and I could potentially want to train with them. I don't know what it is, but just smile more. If you get someone's name, write it down, put it in your phone, remember their name, and use it next time you see them. People love hearing their name, and it means a lot to them. So if you want to stick around, be present, turn into the mayor, learn everyone's name, be happy, leave your baggage at the front door, and you'll be successful. Now, it's going to happen probably. You're going to burn out sooner or later. What are your points for the trainer when that happens?
Usually continuing education. I think once you start to kind of hit that, that like, oh, I'm tired, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, educate yourself. That's really what the fun of this industry is just really kind of continuing to learn different things and apply it to, your workouts. I think a lot of veteran trainers, when they start to feel that way, they switch the style of the training a little bit. They'll make some tweaks and different things like that to really just be like, you know what, I've been doing this for a while with my clients. Let's try this type of workout now. Let's try these different exercises. Let's throw this in, or whatever it is that they might do. But I think continuing education, and you got to take time for yourself. You really do. I mean, maybe, I've always said to my staff, like, look, if you're killing it for me and everything like that, you want to take a weekend off, you want to take a week off, whatever it is, just go get some time by yourself. You got to do it, because it's definitely one of those industries that can suck you in and really just like keep you going nonstop, because you're in a service industry and you've got to service your clients. But they understand as well that you need a break. So
I get emails from students all the time. Chris, I'm burned out. What do I need to do? I always ask them, when was the last time you read a book? How are your workouts going? And consistently, they're not reading. They're not going to Perform Better's, learning from the top names in the industry. Tony Genicourt, Dean Somerset, they're coming here November 17th. Brecken Chairs is coming in a couple weeks. Go to those top. It's expensive. Life's expensive. I've spent a whole lot of money on drinks, waking up the next day like, oh shit, I just spent a lot of money, and that wasn't worth it. I made a mistake. This is working for your knowledge and continuing your career path. So don't have that negative mindset. You will be successful if you're constantly looking out after other people. Train yourself though consistently. Hire another trainer. Once you've been around for a good couple of years, start going to other trainers and paying them hourly rate. Because once you understand the value of yourself, don't be that pot calling the kettle black. So any last pointers for new trainers that are coming in the industry?
No, just be hungry. I mean, look, I think the biggest thing is like you're new blood as soon as you walk in that gym. So like you should have the energy that the older trainers don't. Use that energy. Get to meet everybody, walk around, clean the floor, just be that person. Like Chris made a great point. Like when I became a trainer a long time ago, the first thing I did was figure out who the best trainers were, and I stuck around them. I hung out with them. Like I made myself, I just put myself on their hip basically. It's like, hey, I want to shadow you. I want to do this. I want to learn from you. And, a lot of times they respect that and they really want to help you because at the end of the day, it's going to help the team and it's going to help just like the atmosphere, the morale and the atmosphere around the gym. Other thing is be available, be hungry, and just really, like Chris said, always have a smile on your face and be very, very approachable.
To summarize, have a nice resume, have someone check it over. 1 page, no cover letter. Go into the interviewer, be there at least a half hour early. Don't use excuses like traffic. Dress the part. For girls, I believe that's going to be like a blouse. Be business professional. Know about the history. Ask good questions. I always challenge people to ask the person in front of you a great question. So what are some strengths that you've learned from the position you've been in for the last couple of years? Get them to think, because then you're going to stick around in their mind. And then most importantly, show up, be consistent, smile, be hungry, and you'll be successful. How to get hired at Crunch. Thank you.